Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Andres, and today we are looking at box office for the Broadway, so let's get into it. Up first, we have & Juliet, which had its best week in a long time, playing to 100% capacity this week, compared to last week's 96%, and 991K last week to this week's 1,135,470. Boop, the Betty Boop musical, had 5 performances, so it just started in its previews, playing to 96% capacity and 403K with an average ticket of $73. Now, again, for me personally, Boop is a very expensive, huge spectacle musical. I am seeing it, so you'll be able to get my thoughts on it at the end of next month. But this is okay. Listen, there's a couple of caveats to this. One, it didn't have 7 or 8 performances. 2, it had a much lower ticket price because they're in previews. But when I look at advance sales, they're not looking so great after the first couple of weeks. Same thing with Smash. And also, Smash also played 5 performances, had a bit of a higher ticket price, and they did much better overall. Now, is this horrible for Boop? No, because I think they're intentionally having lower ticket sales. But again, for big musicals like this, you kind of don't want it to open this low. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you've been following the channel, if you've been seeing what I've put out, and I've been proven good. I've been proven correct on this with Some Like It Hot, with Shucked, with Here Lies Love to an extent, that these big musicals that start off like under 800,000 or 700,000 tend to not have long runs on Broadway. And I think that Boop could follow in that trajectory. 1, because it seems like people do not like the show, and 2, I think it's going to get mixed to negative from critics, and 3, while it is being advertised as a family musical, you're competing with Disney, basically. And we've seen that these family musicals that are non-Disney, save for a couple of exceptions, and they are very few, don't tend to work out. So, as of this moment, it has hope. I will judge it fully next week, when it has 7 and 8 performances, and as the average ticket goes up. But here's my thing. This needs to have like a 6 or a 7 in front of it next week. And if I'm being brutally honest, it needs to have a 7 or an 8 in front of it next week. It kind of can't stay in the 500,000, 400,000, 600,000 range. No, this show needs to be making probably like $1 million every single week. And you have to wonder, is Boop too much of a an older IP, an older title that people just aren't going to be interested? And I don't think it's going to be a Barbie-level sensation, even though it follows the plot of the Barbie movie very closely. So again, it's a big we'll see, but right out the gate, big musicals that start off this small is not a good sign. And I have the data to back that up. And it's just the facts. And again, I want it to succeed. I want it to do good, but at the same time, you have to look at the numbers, and it's not a great start, okay? Like, Vista Social Clubs is doing 92% capacity last week and 773K, and this week, 99% capacity and 795K. Are these amazing numbers? No, but I think it started out with a 7 or a 6 in front of it, if I'm correct. It started out with a 4, but then in its next week it went to a 7. So again, things could change, but Visa Social Club is a much smaller musical than Boop. And when it comes to these bigger shows, again, it can start off small, but then it needs to do increasingly better every single week. So it's a big we will see, but I'm getting bad vibes. Just my theories, just my thoughts. Because it is selling good, like it is gonna get good capacity, but again, I do wonder what happens after the first couple of weeks when tickets are more expensive. Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club, 91% last week, 93% this week, 1,061,570 last week, 1,191,296 this week. Death Becomes Her, 94% to 96%, and 1,077,275 to 1,138,120. I'm not going to go into specifics, but Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, and Good Night and Good Luck both mean mammoth numbers, 2 million and close to 2 million. I mean, an average ticket that is insane. But it is good for the business side, but not for the people that love theater, because these are clearly the rich elites that don't go to the theater all of the time seeing it because there's stars in it. And I'm very much against that. Gypsy, 79% last week, and 1,248,827. This week, 83%, and 1,160,276. Much lower numbers than when it started out. But again, I think that it will do good over the summer, but I know Audra's leaving, so I don't expect this to be here for very long. Hadestown had a much better week overall. Last week, 95%. This week, 100%. And 727K to 876K, so it was in that beautiful sweet spot. Hamilton, 100.59 to 100.95, and 1,683,580 to 2,009,043. Hell's Kitchen, 84% to 89%, and 976K to 1,095,419. Maybe Happy Ending, 94% last week and 810K to this week's 100% and 905K. I think this is its second biggest week. But this is amazing for Maybe Happy Ending. I mean, truly, I can't say enough good stuff about the show. It so deserves it. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens with Darren Criss, who will not be in as Oliver next week. It's not selling horribly, but it's not selling as strong. But I think it might go to like 800,000, maybe 700,000. Again, Darren is a name. He brings box office. But I do think he makes it... I think without Darren, again, it would be 700s and maybe 600s than the 8s and 9s it's been doing, and maybe higher drop-offs from week to week. But I think that Maybe Happy Ending, I still affirm that it would have gotten to the place that it's at with or without Darren. Because again, yes, he is a name, he brings in an audience, but I don't think that audience is at the level of a Hugh Jackman, and this show was struggling heavily in previews and even after previews, so you do have to question that how much of a draw does his name bring overall, and that yes, I think he is a safeguard, but he is not a guaranteed hit, as I think the early performances have suggested. And then we got Moulin Rouge, and that show is doing horrendous. I predict this will close this year. 92% and 851K last week, and 94% and 997K. Operation Mincemeat selling out, and 606K to 735K, and that is a limited engagement. You have Redwood, which did 84% last week and 833K to this week's 90% and 846K. So again, it's doing much better, but when I've looked at advanced sales, it's not selling super hot. Again, I think once Adina is out, the show is out. I don't think it's going to be here this time next year. I actually think that's going to happen. So, and I've been correct with many things, so I think you can trust me on this one. 6 did pretty decent, 84% and 719K last week, and 95% and 887K this week. And we got Smash, which I did see, and my review of that is coming. 95% for 5 performances. Average ticket of $106 and 715K. A very good start for Smash, and it's selling very decently in its first couple of weeks. But if you look to like April, it's not selling super good. Now again, Smash is a kind of niche TV show that has a fan base that definitely can pay top ticket, but I think its audience is not big enough the way a Glee TV show musical would be to guarantee you at least a good year on Broadway, $1 million. And Smash is not a It's not a super expensive, like, show, but I'm assuming it costs a lot. Like, it didn't look like it costs a lot, but, yeah, the show definitely, like, Boop and Smash are two big shows that I don't think are going to be here this time next year. Smash has been not received good by audiences of the TV show and of the general public. I think Smash is another show that not a lot of tourists are going to know, but people are going to know Megan Hilty and Death Becomes Her, and I think they're going to go and see that. And I think Smash and Boop are going to cancel each other out, and both will close come January, and I'm very confident in that. You know, the Imperial has had flops a lot recently, and so has the Broadhurst. So I think that Smash, again, I think with both shows, a lot of it is the quality of the show is a big factor, but then also these shows are not going to be able to have lower ticket prices or go at like 500, 600, 700K consistently. They need to be doing 850,000 at the lowest. These shows need to be doing 900K to $1 million plus a week, and I just don't see that happening because of the IP of these shows. The fact that I think both of these shows have been, the content of the shows are that it's not good, and that you know, promising start for Smash, but New York had a promising start, and we all know what happened there. And again, Boop has a lot of caveats in its first week, but I just have a feeling, a financial feeling, that Boop is not going to go great, and my feelings are always proven 100% correct. And again, for a large-scale musical, I'm sorry, but like a show with that is Boop should have an average ticket of over $100 and should be making $700,000 at the minimum. I'm sorry, but I'm being hard on these shows, but that's the basic economic reality, and that's why people are like, what? The show is closing? How? Why? And that's because we are giving these shows a pass too early on, and we're not considering the wider factors into these bigger budget musicals. Sunset Boulevard, 85% last week, and 1,026,223 this week. 86.57 and 1,114,231, and that is closing in July. The Great Gatsby had an amazing week, 91% to 98%, and 1,056,897 to 1,260,045. And then you had The Outsiders playing to sold-out audiences, and 1,306,482 last week, and 1,500,895 this week. So those are the grosses. Very interesting topics. A lot of new musicals on the board. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.